do this. I have a family.
This is your final warning, or I'll go after your family myself.
Hey everyone, I'm Bruce and welcome to another video. Get ready to explore the ultimate list of PSVR2 hidden gems, the kind of games that fly under the radar but pack more fun than a rocket-propelled shopping cart. While everyone's busy talking about the big AAA blockbusters, we're here to shine a spotlight on the unsung heroes of the PSVR2 lineup, games that deserve way more love than they're getting. So strap on that headset, clear some space, trust me, you'll need it, and prepare to be blown away by 12 VR experiences you absolutely shouldn't miss. And hey, if you enjoy discovering hidden VR gems, hit that like button, drop a comment with your favorite, and subscribe for more insane VR content.
このちょっと傷んで危うい匂いのするマグロをぶつけますよ。
Sushi Ben. Okay, I want you to picture something like this. You've inherited a tiny, struggling sushi restaurant in a small town where the locals are more skeptical than a cat eyeing a cucumber. So what's your goal? Revive this joint into the talk of the town, all while wrangling eccentric customers, completing absurd side quests, and of course, mastering the sacred art of sushi making. But here's the deal. This isn't really a cooking sim. Nope. It's an interactive narrative adventure, where you'll need to charm the townsfolk, solve their oddly specific problems. Someone needs you to scare away raccoons, and get them to actually show up at your restaurant before you can start rolling out the good stuff. Gameplay-wise, using VR motion controls, you'll be prepping, slicing, and plating sushi like an absolute pro, or, more likely, flinging fish across the room like a chaotic kitchen disaster. But forget the food. You'll also be exploring the town, fishing, taking on hilarious odd jobs, and even chasing off the occasional troublemaker. Visually, it's got a charming comic book style aesthetic that makes every moment feel like a colorful anime episode where you're the star chef. Bottom line? Sushi Ben is all about winning over people, embracing chaos, and proving that you can roll with the best of them. Pun absolutely intended. Stilt. Now this next one is a game that proves that strapping massive stilts to your feet and parkouring across a bizarre world is a totally reasonable life choice. You play as a mysterious wanderer with an unusual talent for extreme stilt acrobatics, bouncing, flipping, and sprinting across precarious platforms, crumbling ruins, and treacherous landscapes. Why? Because the ground is lava, obviously. Well, maybe not literally, but trust me, falling is not on the recommended to-do list. This VR experience throws you into a physics-driven platforming paradise, where every step is a delicate balance between graceful parkour and absolute catastrophe. The movement system is brilliantly weird. You'll be using your entire body to balance, lean, and launch yourself like some kind of elegant stilt ninja. 1 second, you're soaring through the air like a majestic gazelle, and the next, you're tumbling into the abyss like an uncoordinated giraffe on roller skates. The world is a surreal, dreamlike playground, filled with strange floating islands, impossible architecture, and gravity-defying pathways. But it's not just about getting from point A to point B, it's about mastering momentum, timing ridiculous jumps, and occasionally screaming in panic when things don't go as planned. It's equal parts exhilarating and absolutely bonkers, and once you start feeling like a true stilt-running pro, the game cranks up the difficulty just to humble you all over again. Long story short, if you've ever wanted to experience the thrill of parkour while towering above the world like a caffeinated circus performer, Stilt is an absolute must-play. cyubeVR. It is about to take Minecraft but make it mind-blowingly immersive to a whole new level. Step into a vast, procedurally generated world where every block is high definition, physics-driven, and just begging to be smashed, stacked, or sculpted into your personal VR masterpiece. This is sandbox creativity unleashed. You're dropped into an infinite wilderness with zero hand-holding, no preset objectives, and only your wits and bare hands. Well, VR controllers, but you get the idea. You'll be gathering resources, crafting tools, and constructing everything from cozy little cabins to towering fortresses, all in glorious high-fidelity VR. But don't expect a simple point-and-click building experience. Oh no, here you're grabbing blocks, chiseling intricate details, and flinging materials around like a medieval architect on an espresso binge. The magic happens in the little details. Torches cast dynamic light, weather changes dramatically, and you can practically feel the weight of every stone you place. And let's talk about crafting. This game makes you physically assemble your tools and objects, so if you're bad at DIY projects in real life, prepare for some hilarious trial and error moments. At its core, cyubeVR is the ultimate lose-yourself-for-hours VR experience, giving you complete freedom to build, explore, and probably get way too emotionally attached to a house you spent 6 hours perfecting. If you've got the creativity and the patience, this one is a VR builder's dream come true. Runner. Now let's check out a game that asks the all-important question. What if Akira and Ghost in the Shell had a neon-soaked, adrenaline-fueled VR baby? The answer? A cyberpunk motorbike chase so fast it'll make your real-world legs feel wobbly. You play as Mina, a badass courier with a bounty on her head, racing through a futuristic megacity drenched in neon, synthwave, and explosions. Your goal? Outrun and outgun the relentless corporate forces that want to turn you into digital roadkill. The catch? This is a full-blown high-speed arcade shooter where you're not just dodging traffic, but wielding dual pistols, plasma cannons, and even hacking enemy vehicles mid-chase. The gameplay is absolute chaotic cyberpunk bliss. You're steering your hoverbike with one hand, blasting drones out of the sky with the other, and probably screaming as you thread the needle between two exploding trucks. And if that's not enough, the game lets you physically reload, switch weapons on the fly, and even deflect incoming projectiles like some kind of sci-fi John Wick on wheels. With its retro anime aesthetics, a killer synthwave soundtrack, and non-stop action, Runner is an interactive, high-speed anime chase sequence where you are the main character. If you've ever wanted to live out your inner cyberpunk getaway fantasy, this one is a no-brainer. Just remember to breathe between explosions.
I won't let them.
No more rainbows. This game finally lets you live out your lifelong dream of being a grumpy monster who absolutely despises happiness. If you've ever looked at a cheerful, colorful world and thought, what if I just wrecked everything? Then congratulations. This game was tailor-made for your beautifully chaotic soul. You play as the Beast, a big, burly creature who wakes up one day to discover that some unbearably joyful creatures have turned your dark, brooding lair into a pastel-colored, candy-coated nightmare. And guess what? You are not having it. Your mission? Wipe the smile off this world's face by stomping, smashing, and flinging every last cutesy critter into the void where they belong. The movement system is where the game really shines. You're not walking, you're leaping, climbing, and charging through levels using your powerful monster arms. It's like if Gorilla Tag had a villain arc, and honestly, it's insanely satisfying. 1 second you're launching yourself across a rainbow bridge, and the next, you're yeeting a happy little fuzzball straight into oblivion. With its adorably twisted art style, hilariously over-the-top destruction, and fast-paced platforming chaos, No More Rainbows is the perfect VR game for anyone who enjoys flipping the script on traditional save-the-world stories. Because sometimes, it's just more fun to be the monster under the bed. Tiger Blade. This next VR game asks, what if you were a katana-wielding assassin straight out of a hyper-stylized action movie? The answer? A non-stop, pulse-pounding, blade-slashing, bullet-dodging adrenaline rush that'll leave you feeling like a cyberpunk ninja god. You play as an elite assassin working for the Tiger Clan, and let's just say you've managed to seriously tick off the wrong people. Now, you're on the run through the rain-soaked alleys and neon-filled streets of a futuristic Korean city, slicing through waves of enemies while pulling off some of the slickest VR combat moves imaginable. You're swinging a sword, you're deflecting bullets, dashing between cover, and executing cinematic finishing moves that would make John Wick himself do a slow clap. The movement system is all about blistering speed. Wall runs, power slides, mid-air slashes, it's all here. 1 second you're sprinting up a rooftop, the next you're backflipping over a motorcycle while decapitating a dude mid-air. The swordplay is razor-sharp and brutally satisfying, making every slash, stab, and parry feel like a perfectly choreographed action sequence. With insane visual style, blood-pumping music, and combat that makes you feel like a one-man army, Tiger Blade is basically an interactive action movie where you are the star. Just be warned, once you pick up the blade, putting it down won't be easy.
What they need most are some places to spend time together. You could lend a hand building them by making loops with tiny tracks and trains.
Toy Trains VR. If you've ever looked at a model train set and thought, I wish I could shrink down and walk around inside this miniature world, then congrats. You're about to live that dream in the most immersive way possible. But is it all really about placing tracks and watching trains go in circles like some basic toy set? Oh no. You're the mastermind behind an entire fully interactive railway network, crafting elaborate routes, designing intricate layouts, and solving increasingly complex challenges with just the right mix of creativity and chaos. You'll be placing tunnels, setting up bridges, and orchestrating perfectly timed train schedules like some kind of miniature railway overlord. The best part? You're not just watching from above, you're in it. You can shrink yourself down to ride inside the trains, exploring your creations from a tiny passenger's perspective. 1 second, you're a godlike city planner placing an elaborate suspension bridge over a kitchen table canyon. And the next, you're sitting inside a train, chugging along like a first-class passenger in the world's smallest railway adventure. With charming visuals, relaxing gameplay, and just the right mix of creative freedom and problem-solving, Toy Trains VR is the perfect mix of nostalgia and world-building. It's like stepping into the toy set you always wanted as a kid, but now you get to live in it. Paint the Town Red VR. What if a bar fight escalated into an absolute, all-out, physics-driven, slow-motion carnage simulator? Paint the Town Red VR is your answer. This game lets you obliterate everything and everyone in sight in the most hilariously over-the-top way possible. You're dropped into a variety of chaotic environments. Bars, biker clubs, gladiator arenas, even a freaking pirate ship. And your job? Survive by turning every single object in the room into a weapon. Chairs? Smashable. Pool cues? Breakable. Bottles? Perfect for a good old-fashioned head smash. Oh, and if you ever thought, I wish I could uppercut a guy so hard he flies across the room in glorious ragdoll physics. Well, buddy, dreams do come true. The real magic is in the physics. Every punch, kick, and thrown object sends your enemies flying in gloriously ridiculous ways. 1 second you're drop-kicking a guy through a jukebox. The next you're picking up a sword and going full medieval on an entire tavern. And just when you think you've mastered the art of pixelated destruction, the game throws in slow-motion brutality, ridiculous boss fights, and supernatural powers that let you disintegrate enemies with your bare hands. With its wildly satisfying combat, unpredictable environments, and a literally anything-goes approach to brawling, Paint the Town Red VR is a glorious, chaotic sandbox of destruction where every bar fight turns into a blockbuster action scene. Just try not to accidentally punch your real-world furniture. It happens. A lot.
Will mine finally be a broken edge?
Broken Edge. This is the VR game that lets you settle history's most heated arguments with a good old-fashioned sword fight. Ever wondered if a fencing master could outduel a battle-hardened Viking? Or if a Persian warrior could slice through a hulking barbarian? Well, guess what? You're about to find out. One intense duel at a time. This is no button-mashing free-for-all. Your blade actually breaks if you're careless, meaning every parry, lunge, and counter must be executed with the finesse of a seasoned warrior, not a sugar-rushed toddler with a foam bat. The game turns footwork, timing, and psychological warfare into your deadliest weapons. You're reading your opponent, baiting them into mistakes, and punishing them with a strike so clean it belongs in a history book. And let's talk about the visuals. A dreamlike battlefield where your weapons glow, shatter, and reform like pure energy. The moment you land that fight-ending blow, the world slows down, and you get to bask in the satisfaction of obliterating your opponent's weapon into 1,000 little regret-filled shards. At its core, Broken Edge is a mind game wrapped in a blade dance, where every duel is a mix of elegance, brutality, and just the right amount of, oh no, I miscalculated, and now my sword is in pieces. Get in, master your warrior, and become a legend of the virtual arena. Or at least try not to embarrass yourself too badly.
This is your final warning, or I'll go after your family myself.
Vampire the Masquerade Justice. The game that finally lets you live out your ultimate vampire assassin fantasy, minus the sparkles, plus a whole lot of sneaky murder. You're not just some moody immortal wandering Venice, sipping blood lattes. You're a Banu Hakim kindred, which is a fancy way of saying highly trained undead hitman who takes no nonsense. Someone important got whacked, and now it's your job to find out who did it and introduce them to a very unfortunate afterlife. Stealth is the name of the game here, and lucky for you, you're basically a supernatural ninja with a taste for hemoglobin. You'll be slithering through moonlit alleyways, parkouring across rooftops, and materializing out of the shadows like a medieval Batman, if Batman had fangs and an even more questionable moral compass. And when it's time to strike, you can drain an enemy dry before they even have time to say, "Hey, what's that ominous whispering?" But let's be real, things don't always go according to plan. That's when you ditch the whole silent assassin thing and go full feral mode. Your claws, deadly. Your speed, ridiculous. Your ability to cause absolute chaos, immaculate. With its gothic atmosphere, sinister mystery, and just the right amount of "oh crap, I'm actually terrifying" moments, Vampire. The Masquerade is a power trip wrapped in shadows and drenched in style. Time to sink your teeth in. Just try not to get blood on the cape. Captain ToonHead versus the punks from outer space. This game asks the important question. What if a Saturday morning cartoon exploded into a VR tower defense shooter with zero respect for subtlety? The answer? Pure, unfiltered, over-the-top, chaotically fun madness. You play as Elliot Salazar, a lowly VR technician who somehow gets promoted to the galaxy's last hope against an invading army of punk rock alien weirdos. And when I say weird, I mean cybernetic T-Rexes, punk chicken warriors, and other nonsense that looks like a fever dream cooked up by a 90s action figure commercial. Naturally, the only way to stop them is with a ridiculous arsenal of toon-powered weapons and some very, very questionable decision-making skills. This game is basically tower defense on steroids, and you are in the middle of the action. Instead of just placing turrets and calling it a day, you're flying around, blasting enemies with absurd weapons, and smacking punks upside the head like a true cartoon superhero. And let's not forget the best part. Your weapons are bonkers. Ever wanted to fire exploding burritos? Well, congratulations. Today's your lucky day. With bright, colorful visuals, a sense of humor that refuses to take itself seriously, and gameplay that feels like an energy drink for your brain, Captain ToonHead vs. the punks from outer space is the perfect VR experience for anyone who thinks subtlety is overrated. Strap in, load up the hot sauce cannons, and get ready to save the galaxy. Very irresponsibly.
Mayday, pilot! Enemy fighters are closing in! We need you vertical ASAP!
Ultrawings 2. This last game hands you the keys to an entire fleet of aircraft and basically says, good luck, don't crash. If you ever dreamed of soaring through the skies like an absolute ace pilot, but with just enough chaos to keep things interesting, this is your game. You get a whole selection of aircraft, from nimble stunt planes to military-grade fighter jets that let you shoot stuff out of the sky. Each one feels totally different, meaning one moment you're casually sightseeing over gorgeous islands, and the next you're dogfighting enemy drones and wondering how things escalated so quickly. And let's talk about the jobs you'll be taking on. Because this game isn't just about joyriding. You'll be doing everything from popping balloons with pinpoint precision to performing emergency landings that will 100% make you sweat. One mission might have you racing through tight canyon paths, and the next might be a full-on aerial battle where you're dodging missiles like you actually know what you're doing. The best part? It's full VR cockpit simulation, meaning every button, dial, and lever actually does something. So if you've ever wanted to feel like an elite pilot, or just someone who barely makes it to the runway in one piece, Ultrawings 2 delivers. Just, maybe practice your landings before you start showing off. That ground comes up fast. So that's 12 absolutely unmissable PSVR2 hidden gems that prove that some of the best VR experiences aren't always the ones getting the biggest hype. Slice through battles, pilot tiny trains, or terrorize a world that's way too happy. These games all bring something fresh, fun, and totally unforgettable to the VR table. But now, it's over to you. Which one are you grabbing first? Let me know in the comments, and if I missed a must-play hidden gem, drop it below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe for more PSVR2 goodness, and I'll catch you in the next VR adventure.
punished.